The honeymoon phase of dieting. Just like the honeymoon phase of dating and marriage, eventually the novelty wears off, the excitement goes away, and, well, we get back to normal life. And this is usually where the hard part begins, right? Our prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of our brain, turns back online and starts to realize that, hey, we're actually going to try and have a partnership with this individual. And hey, this individual is not as perfect as we would like to think. Same thing with our diet. The diet is not as perfect as we thought it was. The scale's no longer moving. So, how do we actually take a more sustainable approach and actually make this work for the long term? But before we dive into that, welcome back to the program, everyone. My name is Dr. Dan. I am a pharmacist turned obesity expert. And of course, this is part two on the honeymoon phase when it comes to dieting. We're going to talk about that more sustainable aspect. How can we create that when it comes to our dietary plans and strategy in order to not only lose weight, live a healthier lifestyle, but keep that weight off for the long term? Because if you remember, losing weight's easy. That's the easy part. The honeymoon phase of relationship, that's the easy part. That long-term work that has to go in to make that relationship last, that's the hard fucking part. But hit that subscribe button down below and also check me out on my other channels at the official Dr. Dan so you don't miss any future updates. As well, check out our website healthcareevolve.ca so that you can get all the details that you need as well as a bunch of free resources. And hey, if you need help on your weight management journey, check us out there and you can book a free consult with myself to see if you'd be a good fit for our program. So, as much as I've been hating on relationships and such, obviously not all of them are toxic messes. Some of them can turn into something that is very beautiful and long lasting. And I know plenty of happy couples that have been doing it and grinding it out for years and years. But if you ask and talk to any of them, they will tell you it has taken a hell of a lot of work. Not everything is unicorns and rainbows and all kinds of fun. In fact, some of the stuff that you have to deal with when a partner is downright annoying. And the exact same thing can be said for a particular diet. Now, while I do hate on keto, carnivore, and fasting and such like that, I really do it to more get a jive out of the individuals that hold those diets as gospel and get really angry in my comment section. It's really quite hilarious, and I have no doubt these two videos are going to have their fair share of them. But in reality, those strategies can also work for a minute, small group of people. They can actually go on those diets and sustain them for the long term. These are the people that truly believe that cauliflower crust pizza is better than actual pizza. I know, I still am shocked that they actually exist, but they are there. They're, again, a very small, minute people, but they are out there. But most people can't actually do more of that extreme strategy or approach. Most people need more of a balanced approach that really takes into account life and lifestyle and all the other factors like family, where you live, the environment you live in, all those sorts of things need to also be taken into account. And so today, what we're going to look at is not only some data from the National Weight Control Registry, which is a group that has basically been collecting data on long-term weight loss individuals, people who've lost weight and have been able to maintain that weight loss for a long period of time. But I'll also provide you some of my clinical experience when it comes to looking at sustainable dietary and lifestyle patterns. Now, no matter which camp you fall into, one of the main reasons why many dietary plans and strategies ultimately fail is because most people are using the wrong metric of success. We tend to be hyper obsessed with that number on the scale. And if that number is not going down, ultimately we feel like we're failing at the diet or the plan or the strategy, or we're a failure overall. The thing is that the number on the scale, it's entirely out of our control. I mean, I encourage you, weigh yourself every day for a week. In fact, weigh yourself multiple times a day, and you will see how the scale goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. So why is that? Well, it's because of biology and because sometimes the wind blew. Your body is going to lose and gain weight at a predetermined rate that is largely driven by your genetics. So the genes that you literally got from your mom and dad. And while there is some fascinating research that is going on in terms of gene editing and the things that we can do with our genetic code and new drugs and stuff that are going to come to market, We are a hell of a long way from having some kind of method to go in and change and alter our actual genetic structure in order to alter how quickly or how slowly you ultimately lose and gain weight. So, again, when it comes to that number on the scale, you can do fuck all about it. And when we put all of our eggs into one proverbial basket that we ultimately can't control where the fucking Easter Bunny is going to hide them, it can get pretty fucking demoralizing when things are not going our way. I've had clients come to me who are practically running marathons. They're making incredible gains within the gym. Their clothes are fitting looser. All of these things are going in the direction that they really ultimately want to go. But because that number on the scale is no longer going down, they're about to give all of it up. Think about how ridiculous that sounds, that they are just about to give everything, all these amazing health behaviors that they're engaging in up because the number on the scale won't move. Some inanimate object has all of their power. So, the first thing that we need to do when we're looking at a sustainable dietary plan, strategy, or weight management program is we need to change our metric of success from something we can't control to something that we can control. For example, did you go for a walk today? Maybe you went for 3 walks this week. That's amazing. That is fantastic. That is incredible. That is something that is entirely in your control. Similarly, did you start using a salad plate instead of a dinner plate at dinner? Awesome. That is 100% in your control. Do you see what I'm saying? These are things that you can not only track, make a check mark beside, but these are things that are 100% in your control. You either do it or you don't. It's not being determined whether your genetics decide to kick in and you decide to go for a walk. It's you either go for that walk or you don't. In these situations, you're no longer relying on magic and wishes. Now, you're probably asking, but what if I want to actually lose weight? Fantastic. That's great. You're allowed to do that. No one is saying that you can't work towards losing weight. It just comes down to looking at, well, what are the metrics for success that are going to keep me motivated and moving forward, even when the number on the scale isn't going down? So what we want to look at instead is using the scale as simply a tool. Is the number on the scale going in the direction that we want? Awesome. Okay, my tool is telling me that either A, it's going in that direction or it's not. But it's just a tool, it's just a marker. And instead, what we're looking at is saying, okay, what behaviors are going to help me to get that number on the scale to go down? Hey, I did use a salad plate at dinner. Hey, I've done that every single night this week. Hey, that's ultimately going to help move that scale in the right direction. We try it for a couple of weeks. Did the number on the scale go down? Yes. Awesome. We continue on with that behavior. I'm killing it when it comes to that behavior. The number on the scale didn't go down. Okay, let's take a step back. Where am I going wrong? Maybe I need to add more protein at dinner now. Maybe we want to start weightlifting. Cool. Again, those are behaviors and things that you can start to engage in that are ultimately in your control. And regardless of what's happening, those things are going to help you to be healthier and stronger and feel better regardless if that number on the scale goes down or not. We want to try and see that number on the scale go down, but it might not. Regardless of what happens, you're able to take a step back and say, yeah, you know what? The scale didn't go down this week. Okay, whatever, but I still feel stronger. I'm still moving and progressing in a direction that's ultimately going to help me towards my goals of maybe I'm looking to travel more. Maybe I want to spend more time with my grandchildren. Maybe I want to go on a big, long ass hike. I'm doing all of those things and working towards those things, irrespective of what is happening on the scale. You see, the scale doesn't decide our worth. The scale is a tool. All it is just saying, are we moving in the direction that we're looking to go? Yeah, things are going well and progressing in that way. But we're looking at what really is the bigger picture of why we're doing anything. It can be helping us to guide us along to say, okay, we need to make some modifications and tweaks, but really are these things that are going to help us to really achieve what our actual goals are? Because I'm going to tell you at the end of the day, you could lose 30 pounds, but if you feel like a bag of shit and you haven't seen your family or not able to keep up with your grandkids or what have you, then who fucking cares at the end of the day? So focus on the big picture of what is really important. The scale is nothing more than a tool, similar to how the size or the way that your clothes fit are nothing more than a tool. You can even take a tape measure and measure the size of your thighs, the size of your waist. Those are all going to be things that are nothing but tools that just kind of guide us along and tell us if we're going in the direction that we want to go. All right, capiche? We're good on that? Now, as I said, keto, fasting, carnivore, whatever, they can work for a small majority of people. However, a vast majority of people that lose weight and maintain that weight loss actually need a more balanced approach. And this is where the data from the National Weight Control Registry comes in. Now, the NWCR is a registry that started in 1994 and started tracking individuals who had lost weight and kept it off for a long period of time. In fact, on average, these individuals were losing about 60 or so pounds. And that range around that, the confidence interval, if you will, was anywhere from 30 to 300 pounds is what individuals were losing and keeping the weight off. And on average, they've kept this weight off for 5.5 years or more. So what are some of the things that these individuals who've kept the weight off, what are they doing? Four of the main things that were identified is number one, they're eating breakfast on a daily basis. They are watching less than 10 hours of TV each and every single week. They are exercising for at least an hour on a daily basis. And number four, they are weighing themselves almost weekly. I mean, all of those seem pretty simple, right? And I have seen very similar findings in practice. Individuals that start eating breakfast, that they're kind of tracking things via weighing themselves on their scale once a week and exercising. God, we can never do enough exercise. Exercise is like so incredible, amazing, and wonderful for your body that I encourage you to do as much of it as you possibly can. But all of these things, and in conjunction with things like eating more protein, eating consistently throughout the day, and for the love of God, eating enough calories. 1,200 calories a day is not nearly enough. These are all things that you can start to slowly implement into your lifestyle that can ultimately help you to not only lose weight, but keep the weight off long term. And again, the caveat, these are certainly things that can work for a vast majority of people, but you need to find what ultimately works for you. And eating breakfast every day, it might not work for you, and that is okay. You see, life is about solving problems. Generally, when you solve one problem, it creates more problems for you. Albeit, hopefully each problem you have to solve is getting progressively better. And I always like the saying, Warren Buffett and a homeless guy both have money problems. Warren Buffett just has better money problems than the homeless guy. So as much as people will tell you on the internet and the Instagram model who's flexing their apps will say, here is a simple solution in order to fix your problem. There are no quick fixes. There are no simple solutions. You must try and fail, and do that over and over and over again until you find the strategies and things that ultimately are going to work for you and your lifestyle. It is ultimately a process that we must learn to fall in love with. Kind of like a partner's annoying quirks. Am I right? Don't you love when an analogy just works out so beautifully? So shift your focus away from the number on the scale, shift it towards what actually effing matters in life. And start to make some small changes, small tweaks, and slowly build on top of each of those tweaks and changes. But fundamentally, remember to keep them within your control. Anytime you put it outside of your control and rely on someone else or something else, you are ultimately giving away your power. And if something doesn't work, well, that is awesome. That means we get the opportunity to try something else. So until next time, my friends, remember the honeymoon phase is short-lived, just like your relationships. So learn to fall in love with the process afterwards. And you're going to need to put in the work, but sustainability and managing your weight in the long term is definitely doable. So until next time, my friends, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below so you never miss another video when they come out. Check me out on my other channels at The Official Dr. Dan. We're on the Tik, the Talk, the Gram, the Tweets, the Book, you name it, we are out there. As well, check out my website, healthcareevolve.ca, where you can get all the latest updates, get all kinds of free resources. And hey, you can also book a free consult with myself to see if you'd be a good fit for our weight management program. And of course, always remember that small tweaks are literally going to lead to massive peaks.